Thank you for the head shaking. Welcome to the Cedar Valley Pumps Distribution System Water Users Annual Meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started with our agenda. Number one on the agenda is hearing of the 2020 minutes. And Larry, if you could read those for us, please. Thank you.
This meeting was called to order by Chair Valin Sherritt. She then asked Secretary Larry Garfield to read the minutes of the 2019 meeting. Following the reading of the minutes, Valin commented that the Social Security amount in the budget should be $1,148 rather than $1.148. With that correction, she called for a motion to approve the minutes. Brent Jones moved for approval of the minutes as corrected. Dennis Porter seconded. Minutes approved as corrected. Valin then asked the attendees to introduce themselves. She then asked for April McEwen, Water Commissioner, to present the Commissioner's report for 2019. Water management. In 2019, there were 10 temporary and 7 permanent change applications approved in the Cedar Valley distribution system. There were also 2 non-use and 2 extension of time applications. The change applications are reflected on the spreadsheet that is contained within this report. I also submitted 1 enforcement referral. The referral was for overwatering, which resulted in a notice of investigation. However, it was determined that the water user had sufficient surface water from Braffett's Creek and Rush Lake, as well as several hundred acres of water owned by others in a well that could be used for irrigation on the property. Once again, my goal this year was to improve the quality and accuracy of the mapping and the spreadsheet. This season, I made several site visits and added irrigated acreage quantities to the spreadsheet. The map was updated to reflect some unused acreage, ownership changes, and approved permanent change applications. I continue to review and spot check water right on the spreadsheet with the Utah Division of Water Rights website. In the upcoming year, I will continue to improve the accuracy of the mapping and spreadsheet. I will focus on the potential over-irrigated acres to ensure compliance with water rights for each user. Spreadsheet. Similar to last year, there are some question marks in the irrigated acreage column. Most of these are small irrigated areas, and I intend to do a more accurate accounting this coming irrigation season. I still find that there are some complicated situations with water rights that have various owners, and I have been sorting out where the water is actually being used. There are also some properties that have possibly been watering more acreage than there are water rights. I will continue to inspect these properties in the upcoming season. Mapping. The map is based on 2016 aerial photography as well as the Commissioner's site investigations. There are some properties filled in with red. Some of these are shown as a reminder to me to review them in the upcoming season for possible overwatering. Precipitation. See Distribution Engineer's report. Concerns. Last year, I made the suggestion that some water users with both surface and underground rights should have meters installed. No action was taken on behalf of this request. I need the input of the water users to ensure that the information on the spreadsheet and mapping is accurate. Please review your water rights, irrigated acres, and crop type and report any errors. This will also help with efforts to reduce water use required by the groundwater management plan. April commented that the last page of the spreadsheet was left out of the report. A few copies can be made tonight. Otherwise, she will include it in the report next year. Valin then called for a motion to approve the Commissioner's report. Bob Tuckett so moved. Rob Dotson seconded. Motion carried. Belinda then asked if there were any concerns with the commissioner's work, and there appeared to be none. Belinda then asked Jared to present the financial report. He reported that we had a beginning balance of $1,145.08 at the beginning of the year. We had receipts in the amount of $18,557.89 and expenditures in the amount of $18,562.93. Our ending balance, December 31st, 2019, was $1,140.04. Belinda called for a motion to approve the financial report. Brent Jones so moved. Bob Tuckett seconded. Motion carried. Mike Cedar discussed the delinquencies. He said that Raymond's accounts are now all current. Matt Bullock is 2 to 3 years delinquent. With Raymond's account paid, we would be at about $3,400 in delinquencies. Belinda then stated that we needed to prepare a budget for 2020. The commissioner's salary will remain at $15,000, Social Security $1,148, insurance $150, travel expense $700, secretary expense $150, office expense $80, state engineer assessment $1,293, and annual report $70. Total budget $18,591. Belinda then called for a motion to approve the 2020 budget. Brenda Blackburn so moved. Dennis Porter seconded. Motion carried. Belinda then said that we need to set the assessment for 2020. Bob Tuckett moved that the assessment for 2020 be set at $19,000. Brent Jones seconded. Motion carried. Belinda then said that it was necessary to select a new chair and 2 committee members. The current chair is Belinda Sherritt, with Bob Tuckett and Dennis Porter as committee members. Bob Tuckett moved that we retain Belinda as the chair. Brent Jones seconded. Motion carried. Brent moved that we retain Dennis and Bob as committee members. Rob Dotson seconded. Motion carried. James Greer talked about the groundwater management planning meeting. The comment period for the plan was extended to February 28th, and they are still receiving comments. They are working to get the mapping online, which will be available at all times. The groundwater management plan shows water right depletion estimates. The data is based on priority date, not type of use. Mike said that the mapping is critical, and coupled with this data will be very beneficial for the distribution system. Recharge is only for the benefit of recovery. Belinda called for a motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned at 6:15 p.m.
Thank you, Lori. I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes for 2020 as read. Do I hear, excuse me, I'm entertaining the motion.
I'll make the motion and we approve it.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll make the motion, we approve them.
Thank you, Bob. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it. Brent Jones.
Thank you, Brent. Okay, thank you, Brent. There's been the motion to approve the minutes for 2020 has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye. Thumbs
Aye.
up, whatever it is. It's kind of hard in this format. Are there any opposed? There's a chat. Let me look there. Okay. It looks like there are no opposed. The motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 2, the hearing of the 2020 Commissioners Report. April, can we have you read that for us, please?
Okay. So we'll start with the water management. In 2020, there were 14 temporary and 24 permanent change applications approved in the Cedar Valley distribution system. There were 15 extension of time applications. The change applications are reflected on the spreadsheet that is contained within this report. Cedar Valley Ranch filed a permanent change application to convert the use of irrigation, stock water, and domestic purposes to commercial use. The application was approved and requires that all water diverted shall be metered. The order states that the water users submit monthly water meter readings. In order to ensure compliance with these requirements, I have been reading the meters during the 2020 irrigation season. With each passing year, Cedar Valley Pumper Water Commissioner, I am becoming more familiar with water right owners and land use within the valley. I'll continue to improve the quality and accuracy of the mapping in the spreadsheet. This season, I made several site visits and added irrigation acreage quantities to the spreadsheet. The map was updated to reflect some unused acreage, ownership changes, and approved permanent change applications. I'll continue to review and spot check water right on the spreadsheet with the Division of Water Right website. Similar to last year, there are some question marks in the irrigated acreage column. Most of these are small irrigated areas, and I intend to do more accurate accounting of them this coming irrigation season. I still find that there are some complicated situations with water rights that have various owners, and I've been sorting out where the water is actually being used. There are also some properties that have possibly been watering more acreage than there are water rights. I'll continue to inspect these properties in the upcoming season. And that sounds a little bit like a broken record, but it's kind of just an ongoing process. So with the mapping this year, imagery has been converted to 2018 hexagon 30 centimeter aerial photograph. The 30 centimeter hexagon imagery is a higher resolution copy of the statewide 2018 NAIP imagery. The map used in this report utilized the photograph in conjunction with the commissioner's site investigations. There are a few properties shown in red that indicates overwatering. Some of these are shown as a reminder to me to review them again in this upcoming season. As in previous years, I am still of the opinion that some water users, but with both surface and underground rights, should have meters installed. No action has been taken on behalf of this request. Finally, as always, it is helpful to get input from water users to ensure that information on the spreadsheet and mapping is accurate. Please review your water rights, irrigated acres, and crop type and report any errors. This will help with the efforts to reduce water use required by the groundwater management plan.
All right, thank you, April. I will entertain a motion to approve the Commissioner's report.
I'll do it in second or motion for Bob Tuckett.
Thank you, Bob. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Brent Jones.
Thanks, Brent. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the the 2020 Commissioner's report as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving to the next item on the agenda is, this one's a little bit different than I'm used to seeing. I apologize. Number 3, recommending a water commissioner for the next term. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to recommend a water commissioner for the next term.
April, I guess we ought to ask if you're still willing to serve.
How long is the term? Is it 4 years or
It's 4 years, yep.
years? 4 years. If everybody's satisfied with my work, I would be happy to continue.
All right. You might have to help me navigate this, Jared or Mike. Sorry.
I think you're doing fine. You probably just need some people to step up and press that unmute button and start making some motions.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I'll make the motion that we approve April for another term as a commissioner. Bob Tuckett.
Thank you, Bob. Is there a second?
We have.
There's a write-in that Monty Sorensen second that. Also,
Okay.
Brent Hunter.
Okay, perfect. All right. We have it's been moved and seconded that we approve April McKeon as our water commissioner for the next 4 years, the next term. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
I didn't
Okay.
hear any opposed, so I think you're in good shape.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. The motion carries. Moving on to number 4 on our agenda, which is the report from the Division of Water Rights.
Okay, maybe
And,
I'll start with that.
okay, thank you, Jared.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us and hearing this out and getting online and participating. Appreciate your willingness to do this in a way that it's never been done before. So it seems to be working out all right. On that line, I put a link to a form to sign in, since there's no way to pass around a paper sheet. And so what you'll need to do is go to the comments. That's the little cartoon speech bubble that you'll see the icon on the top right. I'll post it again if you don't see it. If you've come online since I posted it the first time, you won't see it, but when I post it again, you'll see it. So you'll have to click on that link and then sign in order to show that you were at this meeting. So that's really all I've got. You want to turn some time to Nate?
I have 3 items. One is that the groundwater management plan has been published for final adoption as of January 11th this year. There is a 60-day window where if somebody's displeased with the plan, they can take it to court at this point, but that's the stage that it's in. Second is Keith Christensen out of our office has retired as of November 30th. So he gave us a 30-year and 1-day career. It's really sad to see him go. He had a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure he's helped many that are on the line with us right now. As you can see, there's Anna Doyle is on the screen. Wait for us, Anna. She's Keith's replacement, and we have high hopes for Anna. She's doing great so far, and we're really happy to have her here. So if you get the chance to come in, say hi to Anna. Those are the announcements from the Cedar City office. Thank you.
I guess it's my turn. I want to talk about what kind of year we had in water last year. We had some pretty good snowfall, but it kind of tapered off towards the end. We ended up with an average snowfall year, and that turned into a short spring runoff this past year. Really, we had drought conditions prevail through the summer months with very little, if any, rain, and that was true for most of southern Utah. That is, well, was the path that we were on in January. We were at about 60% of median when I wrote my engineer's report for April. And that's on page 43 in the report. It's towards the end. But I do want to share the current screen that we're doing better on snowpack down in southern Utah. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but we went up 27 points in the beaver drainage. And southwestern Utah went from 61 to 68. So with a little bit of precipitation, we had a huge gain. I'm hoping that we can stay in the storm pattern and build the snowpack back up to a median level, get back in the green where we'd like to be. That would be a good thing to have, but right now we're really below 70%, and that's still not good. But we still got another month or two of snowpack and winter building that we're looking at. Also, I wanted to let you guys know I've enjoyed working with you, but I'm looking at retirement this year. So I will probably be around for part of the summer and some of the system startups. There's some work I feel like I still need to get done with some of my commissioners, but I'm going to retire this year. You won't see me at next year's meeting, but I have really enjoyed working with all of you, and I appreciate the time that we've spent together. And it'll be up to Jared to get a replacement in, and I think it'll be somebody that's suitable to pick that up. And this is, like Jared said, this is a first for these meetings. Hopefully you guys will get to meet in person next year, but it's just a better way to do it for the situation we're in with the COVID. And I wish the best to all of you, but you'll see me around for a little bit, getting things started this summer. And it's been good working with you. And that's all I've got. Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you. We'll move to our next agenda item, the 2020 financial report. And Jared, will you be doing that one?
Sure. And
Thank you.
let me present my screen so you can see it. All right, beginning balance on January 1st, $1,140.04. Receipts were as follows: assessments, $13,450.85. Delinquent penalties, $1,837. Previous assessments and penalties, $2,976.51, for total receipts of $16,445.73. Expenditures, $18,356 budgeted, $587 unbudgeted, for a total of $18,361.87. That gives us an ending balance of negative $776.10. So you can see here that receipts were just over 16,000, expenditures were just over 18,000. So spent more than $2,000 more, or almost $2,000 more than what came in, and that's why our balance went from positive to the negative. And I'll talk about, or we'll discuss that a little bit later. It has to do with delinquent accounts, and there's a list of those that we'll get to on another agenda item. We come to the second page, an itemized listing of thing on the budget, with that first column of numbers showing what was budgeted in this meeting last year, and the second column showing what was actually spent throughout the year. And that last item, or that last column, which I'll go down, shows the difference between those two. So slight miscalculation on the salary there, went over 584.03 on Social Security. Insurance under by 56.24. Travel expense under by 123.73. That secretary expense was expended. Office expense, a balance there, 53.33. State engineer assessment was expended. The annual report, $1.70 balance. So the total amount budgeted last year was 18,591. Spent was 18,361.87 for a total difference there of 229.13. And then the total system assessment amount set last year was 19. Any questions on that report?
Okay, hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial report for 2020. Paul Monroe, thank you. Thank you. And there's a second, please.
I'll second it, Brent Jones.
Thank you, Brent. All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Okay, motion carries. All right, moving on to item number 6, reviewing the delinquent assessment accounts. I'll turn some time
I'll go
over to
ahead and
Jared
take that.
and Mike for that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take care of that. I actually looked at every one of these. I just want to point out that we only collected assessments of about, well, even with the previous assessments, about 16.5 was the total assessments when we were trying to collect 19,000 of total assessments. And the reason that we're not collecting, or we did not collect the full 9,000, we got 68, 23.19 in delinquents. And that's the wrong paper, but let me get to it here. I kid you not, I went through every one of these. Let's see. Oh, it's 2 pages of delinquents covered here, so let me get to that. Okay, so just starting at the top, Dale Harris with 22 is 1 year delinquent. Chat Ranch is 1 year delinquent with 28. Clark Livestock is got a $513 assessment and a $51 delinquent. That's $564 altogether. MJB 1 year assessment for $300 with a $30 delinquent charge. Clark Brothers is 1 year out, 191. Arvin Burton has not made payments since 2000. I am not sure what to do about that one, but here we are 20 years of non-payment. And that's what 20 years of non-payment when you have a basic $20 a year charge turns into $264. I've talked with Raymond briefly about all of his charges. Right, as you know, Raymond, he's notoriously late. He assures me that he will get payment to me. So we won't talk much about Raymond and drag him through the mud much longer. But if you see him, just remind him he owes me a check so we can get these current. He's one of our biggest outstanding balances. Matt Bullock, no payment since 2018. So we're going on 2, if not 3 years for $11.98. That's quite a balance there. MWH, Wayne Smith, it's a limited partnership. $22 is 1 year delinquent. Judd Trust, Lynette and Charles, David Trust, trustee, and JBiz Holdings, last paid in 2016. I think that went from the Judd owning it to the trustees running it, and I got to give them a call about that one. Greg and Bonnie Jones is $303 is only 1 year delinquent. Clark Family Trust, 1 year delinquent at 153. Hardin Family Trust is 1 year at 250. There's another Raymond, well, 2 more Raymonds. Sevi Livestock down towards the bottom of the page, 17160 is 1 year out. And Brett and Margot Whittier, 1 year out. Turning the page, Ashdown Murray is 1 year unpaid at 22. Another Raymond account. John and Susan Harris is a former Pendleton account, no payment since 2016. And then the other Pennington account, we have a bad address on that one. So if anybody knows about the Penningtons, I'm not getting the mail through to them. Robinson, Don Robinson is 1 year unpaid. James Faulkner, we did get an address change on that, but the bill has not been sent out to them. We'll just get that at this year's mailing. Timothy and Marcia Allen is a new owner. They probably don't understand what that bill is, only 1 year. Fiddler's Canyon, 1 year at 314. Grimshaw Drilling at 37 is 1 year. Here's another big one, Cedar Valley Ranch. We have a post office box that goes to Provo, I think to their attorney, that should be paying that. That's a phone call I've got to make and follow up with the locals to make sure that it's paid. Spencer Jones, 1 year at 59. That's a right that got converted from irrigation to mining. I'm not sure of that arrangement on who's paying that. That's again 1 year out. And Jones, Lauren and Shirley M. Jones, Revocable Trust, 1 year at 22. And Clark, Robert and Donna Clark, 22 at 1 year. It's a whole bunch of small pieces with a few bigger ones, but it adds up to quite a bit. And that's why you guys are in the negative. If any of those names ring a bell, I'd appreciate if you got any insight as to what may be going on. You can call me or send me an email to Mike Silva at utah.gov. And it's a quite an effort to go chase all these around. I'm going to focus on getting Raymond paid up and some of the other larger accounts paid up. And these smaller ones, hopefully they will get the new bill and we'll see which mail comes back. That's a delinquent report. That's the biggest delinquent report I've had to do this year in the state. So any help on those, I'd sure appreciate it. That's it for me.
All right, thank you, Mike. Okay, item number 7 on our agenda is preparing a budget of salaries and other necessary expenses.
Before you go, could you repeat Mike Silva's email address?
Yes, it's Mike Silva,
Yes.
MikeSilva at utah.gov.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing I might add is that you may see a request for an email address come through on this year's paper billing. We may be making a shift to do electronic billing by email for those that will entertain that. But we've got some work on our end to get that set up. But that you may see that request come through in the billing this year.
Okay, excellent. I'll go back to mute.
Thank you. All right. Now I lost my page and I don't know where I am, and I'm sorry. This format's throwing me off a little bit. Okay, we're preparing the budget of salaries and other necessary expenses. All right, April, are you okay on your salary for $15,000?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll stay with that.
Okay. And we were delinquent a little bit for $5.84. Are we going to have that same delinquency moving forward? Do we need to include that?
I think that wasn't me.
We overpaid her by that much.
Okay. All right, so the 15,000 would be okay. All right. What about let me pull this back up here. Will the Social Security amount be the same? The insurance be the same?
Yep.
So we have 1148 for security. Okay. and the insurance is 150. And then what about travel expense, April?
So we had I didn't spend quite the $700 this year, but I will be out reading meters at Cedar Valley Ranch the whole
Okay.
year. I only for the partial year. So I think we should probably leave travel expense where it's at, and
Okay,
I should.
and that will be
stay
adequate
under
for you?
that. I think so, yes.
Okay,
So is
all
that
right.
700?
Larry, that one is 700, yes, sorry about that.
Okay.
And then the secretary expense is showing as 150. Larry, is that
Yes.
an adequate amount for you forward? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then our office expense was $80. And it
Yeah,
looks
that
like,
was buying some toner, I think. Is that right, April? Did we buy
So-
some ink?
Normally what I use for office expense would be like printer ink and paper. And so I spent $53 this year, and that would probably work again.
okay, about the $80 balance. Okay. All right, we'll leave that at 80. And then the state engineer assessment, does that remain at 1293 or does it go up any?
It went down to 1280.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then the annual report, is that amount sufficient for the annual report, $70 that is listed?
I made 15 copies this year. Seems like that was a little expensive. No, you know what? It was actually that was for last year. Because when I do the report, it's usually in the next year. And so this was actually last year's
Okay.
report. Quite a few more copies. This year I only made 15 copies. And I forget what that was exactly. But,
Okay.
so I think
with
if I think if you could drop that to $50, because I don't think I didn't spend 70 on the report. Or you could leave it.
Okay. Okay. We can do either. If you feel 50 would be adequate, we could move to that, or we could leave it at 70.
Right, since we're struggling so much with money, let's just make that 50. That'll make up for
Okay.
one delinquent.
Okay. All right, so we're reducing the annual report amount to 50. All right. And I didn't write any of those down, so that's not very helpful. So we've got 15,000. And we've got 1148 and 150.
I wrote them down and I came up with a total of 18,558.
Okay.
I got that also. Thanks, Jared.
Okay, perfect. All right, so our proposed budget total is 18,558.
And I think there's a motion in the comments.
Okay, perfect. I'm not on that screen, so I apologize. Paul Monroe, thank you. He's moved to the approve the budget with the proposed changes. Is there a second to that? Don't everybody speak at once.
Looks like you've got a second in the comments as well.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Brent Hunter. All right, motion to set the assessment at, the budget at 18,558 for the year 2021 has been moved and seconded. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, aye. Aye. And those opposed. All right, motion carries. All right, moving on to number 8, setting the distribution system assessment. Okay, so it looks like our previous assessment was 19,000. We're delinquent because of delinquent accounts. So we do have that shortage of $800. And not necessarily are with those delinquent assessments. We probably need to account for that, I would think.
Yeah, I imagine you could keep the assessment the same. I'd hate for you guys to have to
Okay.
raise the assessment to cover folks delinquent, you know what I mean? It makes more sense to try and collect those delinquents, but it's up to you guys, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I move we leave it the same. Brent Jones.
Okay. Brent has motioned to leave it at a 19,000. Is there a second?
Yeah, almost 7,000 in delinquents, which puts you over. Put a little cushion back in it.
Well, and I think a couple of these guys, I think Raymond would pay, and I think North Spring.
Thank you, Paul Monroe.
Not North Spring. but-
Seconded the motion. Okay. So the motion has been moved and seconded that we set the assessment for 19,000, the same as last year. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right. Number 9, selecting new distribution system chairman and committee members. And I'm not sure where we are on that for those terms. And I apologize for not knowing.
Give me just a sec and I'll bring that up.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I don't remember if I'm up this year, if I'm up next year.
Well, we had a rotating year. Bob Tuckett is up this year.
No, I don't see it on.
And then they retain Dennis and Bob.
I move we leave them the same.
Oh, there we go, that's on.
Yeah, that make that easy.
Say it again.
Okay. Then Paul Monroe
make-
has seconded that motion.
I'll second it then. Brent Jones.
Okay, Brent first. Brent did it first and then Paul. All right, so sorry, I'm losing my page again. It's been moved and seconded that we leave the system chairman and committee members as constituted. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, is there any other business?
Okay, I'd like to make a comment that I have some extra copies of the report here. I think I have probably at least 10 or 12 copies left. I'll leave them in the office. And anyone that wants to have one, or, you know, if we run out, we can get copies, probably more copies. And then I have 2 maps sets here, and I'll leave one in the office. And if anyone wants to look at it and comment or redline it, that would be great. And then I'll come back and take a look at it, you know, throughout the season and make sure if anybody has commented on it.
Perfect, thank you, April. Is there any other business that anyone would like to bring forward? All right. I'm going to take a minute to thank Mike and Jared and our local water awesome people that help us navigate this, and also thank April for her willingness to be our water commissioner and help us understand how to better use our water and use it wisely. And also thank you to Loree for all that she does to take care of our notes and things, being our secretary. With that said, I will entertain a motion for adjournment meeting.
I think they jumped right on this one.
Anybody?
I move we adjourn. Brent Jones.
Thank you, Brent. Is there a second?
Anybody?
Sam Bauer will second it.
Thank you, Sam. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Good job, Elin.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll get Zubik signed up on that